memory fuels resilience. Why? Because if God delivered me before and he provided for me this time and he blessed me this time, wait a minute, this is just like that. He did it there, so now he can do it here. Am I making sense? So memory is a tool for your resilience. That means sometimes I bounce back not because of what I feel. I really bounce back because of what he did before. Memory is essential. That means memory is essential to your faith. Tell your neighbor, say, your memory is essential to your faith. Jesus tells them, listen, Jesus says this, do this in remembrance of me. Jesus said, you got to remember, and you got to do this as often as you do it. Do this in remembrance of me. The Lord's Supper wasn't supposed to be just on the first Sunday. He said, you can do it as often as you want to. Anytime you need to remind yourself of who I am and what I did, do this, and then you're going to reignite your faith. So if you can imagine, erasure says, I'm for the mess with your resilience. You ain't going to be able to bounce back because you ain't got no history to tie it to. We can't talk about how God brought you over because we can't talk about what God did to your grandma and for your grandma because we don't share with our children. And so what? But they're being erased constantly. Doing this to you, I'm doing that to you, I'm taking it, I'm taking this, I'm taking that, and that's all you hear all day is what you're taking. We never rehearse what he did. And so erasure is not just a policy issue. It's demonic in nature because it's dealing with what you believe about God, what you believe God's going to do with you. See, it's hard to pray to a God who ain't never answered nothing. Pray for what? Pray to who? But when you got a testimony, am I making sense? The Bible says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of that testimony. You got to keep your memory. So kingdom-minded churches, the reason why we give so crazy, I want you to understand something. Why we give our money, why we give our time, why we serve so voraciously, so passionately. We serve and we give our energy and our time and we help and we build ministries and we do stuff. Other churches worried about getting new carpet, and we talking about building schools and homes. Other churches argue about what color the wall's going to be, and we were saying, what land do we want to buy? It's because we carry a testimony that God is a liberator, and that God is a God of deliverance, and that God is a God of hope. And so because of God's faithfulness, my job is to carry that faith through other generations. I am not just worried about me. I am worried about making sure that you get it, your kids get it, our children get it, our grandchildren get it, because God's been too good to us. But if there's somebody, could you imagine that while the whole time God is trying to build up his case, there's somebody walking in your mind? And when you got to reach back, you don't. The reason why you don't want to give is because you're too busy trying to live. What do you mean? If I know that God's provided from here and done that, and I remember the last time I gave this and last time I did this, then for me giving is just a ain't even no thing. What did you give? I sold that. Really? How you gonna pay your bills? Man, listen. Let me tell you. In 2000, that's what God did. In 2015, that's what God did. In 2023, that's what God did. In 1999, that's what God did. And this, man, please, God, I ain't stressed. It's the reason why we do what we do. Am I making sense? So you don't realize the reason why some people can clap so passionately and stand and raise their hands so correct, and you look at them like, what is wrong with them? They're saying, I can remember what God did, and I can remember how God touched, and I can remember how God blessed, and I can remember how God delivered, and I can remember how faithful God is. And he's always been powerful. So I can shout and I can give God praise anyhow. And I can have cancer and shout. I can deal with diabetes and shout. I can deal with depression and shout. Why? Because I remember. You gotta remember. So say that time, you gotta remember. See, in the first message I preached to you guys, I told you about Joseph. And I said Joseph lived a life of vision, but he had to remember what God showed him. Because what God showed him wasn't where he was. So his vision that God gave him as a child, that I'm going to be a ruler, that I'm going to be a leader. And Dad, one day, you're going to come before me. And brothers, one day, you're going to come before me. The memory of that vision, saints of God, I want you to hear me. Let him deal with being accused. Let him deal with being done in by his brothers. Let him deal with being falsely accused by Potiphar's wife. Let him deal with being in the prison. Let him deal with all that forgetfulness. So that the day when Pharaoh called him, then he was already, he said, oh, I remember this. This is what God showed me way back here. This stuff right here was just something that I had to go through, but it had nothing to do with what God showed me. Am I making sense? Joseph's foresight was based upon God. He said, I remember how God worked with me. So Pharaoh, now let me tell you how to handle this situation. Last week, David was able to say, man, my life sucks right now. But I remember that God keeps account of my tossings. That, wait a minute, not only do I remember, but God remembers. And now I know God is with me no matter what I'm going through. And so that gives me focus that even if I'm having a bad season, I can have a bad season because God knows every time I rolled over in bed. He knows every time I took a sigh. Every time I sat there, my neck was tight. He watched me every time I sat in my car, and every time I drove home, and every time I sat in my office. God said, I remember that. Am I making sense? I'm talking about memory. So in our text, the old man Moses. Book of Deuteronomy is the old man Moses. We saw him from 0 to 40 in Pharaoh's court. We saw him from 40 to 80 on the other side of the desert, on the back of Mount Sinai. When we saw him from 80 to 120 leading Israel. But in his farewell book, Deuteronomy, he's talking to a new group of people, a new group of leaders. He's talking to the people who are called to take the kingdom in. Not just to talk about it, But he's talking to a group of people who will call. He says, now y'all gonna build the schools. Now y'all gonna build the houses. Now y'all getting ready to build the temples. Now y'all are getting ready to rule the world. So he talks to them, Reggie, and as an old man, he says, I got to give you some good advice, son. And he tells them this. He says, before you go to the promised land, and before you start living a good life, he says, one thing I need to tell y'all. Old man Moses says, remember. He says, I've got to help you. He says, your parents forgot. People forgot about it, but I want you got to remember this. Because when you go in, what's going to happen is this. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to start living a good life. And you don't, listen, listen, that comfort is the great eraser. Am I talking to somebody? You can tell all the stories about when you was in the apartment and ramen noodles and oatmeal this and beanie weenies that. I'm making sense. And listen, when you didn't have, when you couldn't afford Frosted Flakes, you just had flakes, corn flakes. Toastios instead of Cheerios. Am I making sense to anybody? Yeah. All your boxes were black and white. and listen, what your cheese didn't come in Kraft single wrap packages. I mean, it was a block about this long, and you would take the block. You would pull it off, and it had a piece of cardboard, and you would pull it off, and you would cut it up, and then you would have to cut the cheese. and the cheese be about, when you were little, it'd be about this thick. You'd be like, Mama, my cheese don't look like Johnny cheese at school. Why my cheese thick? Johnny cheese is all one. It don't have cuts and grooves in it. Shut up, baby. We got the good cheese. that ain't a good cheese. That ain't real cheese. But your problem is, saints of God, your problem is now you're having cocktails. Now you're having mimosas after service and brunch and I'm making sense. And now listen. If your mama would have tried to serve you raw fish when you was little, you would throw up. But now you eating sushi. Mama, something wrong with this fish. But now it's I enjoy sushi. It is delicious. Your mama said, baby, that gas ain't on. We having sushi tonight. I'm gonna get this raw fish and wrap it in some rice and put some cucumbers and a couple of onions around it, and we're gonna put it together, glue it together, and we're gonna eat that. You'd be like, Mama, what's wrong with us? But now it's sushi. Now the sushi. I'm talking to the sushi saints, and I'm making sense. And I'm talking to the mimosa members. I'm talking to y'all now. I'm talking to y'all now. Suddenly now you don't remember what it's like, and you drive by places and be like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. What? Oh my goodness. And now when we say what the Lord has done, you forget now because you think some kind of way you ended up with that degree because you were brilliant. And you got that job because you are just so that you're so articulate, and you forgot you was an army boy, and that little army boy That little army boy ended up getting a job driving a bus. And then you started driving a bus, and then with that little army boy got favor, and before long you was the director of the systems. But you forgot you was a little army boy. You forgot you was a little army girl. You forgot you forgot you was barely that you cheated on the test that you passed. That you changed 5 words on that thesis, the name, and you went in and changed every 3rd word in that document. Now I'm going to say, let's change try, and let's delete and put attempt. Erase go and put proceed. And now I have an original document that I turn in, and now you don't walk across the stage with your little degree or 2. Got your certification and did all that stuff, and now suddenly you thinking that you all that. I want you to know comfort is a great eraser. Now listen, now that you can go by certain stores that you used to that your grandmother couldn't go in. I'm making sense, and you got on clothes that your great grandmama used to sew. You're eating food that your great grandfather used to migrate to harvest. And now you've gotten comfortable and confident, and now suddenly you have no memory. So Moses looks at them and says, I got a warning for you. He says, when you get to that land, you better remember.
Thank you for worshiping with us today. If you like this message, you can find the rest at cmllcstore.com. We invite you to join us again for our extraordinary worship services every Sunday at 10:30 a.m., Sundays at 4 p.m., and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central, where Dr. Moody teaches how to understand the Bible, and you can get all your biblical questions answered. We look forward to connecting with you. We ask that you subscribe to The Rock ATX on YouTube and follow The Rock ATX on Facebook and Instagram to stay connected to all The Rock is doing. You can also get connected on our website at therockatx.org. Again, thank you for worshiping with us, and be blessed.